Yeah, this is a podcast of Nathan, Nat and Shaun.
Let's go!
On Channel 10, a show called Mirror, Love and Hate is airing. It is another doco from the genius that is Todd Sampson, who joins us now. Morning, Todd.
Good morning. Thank you for the...
Are we going to be throwing our phones into a deep pit after this?
I think if you're going to watch anything of the series, maybe watch the first 5 minutes. It's pretty out there, and it really puts you in your seat in terms of the impact the internet's having on us and how it's changing our brain.
Yeah, it's amazing how it's wired to be able to, when you jump on, to be able to point you in a direction that they want to do, Todd. And I imagine that after doing this yourself, has this changed any of your behaviour? It's
definitely changed my behaviour.
Has it?
So there's a couple of things that I strongly recommend, that the psychologist recommended on the journey. The first, especially for us in the media, the first one is to turn off all notifications on your mobile phone, everything, even your Ring. So to have no beeps. I put my 13-year-old phone in my back pocket while we were walking the dog, and it was like a machine gun was going off.
Snapchat.
I said, what's happening? And she said, it's just notifications, Dad. Don't worry about it. So that's one, and you'll get your attention back. Right. You are in control of your attention. The second one, particularly for people in the media or those that are heavy social media users, delete all social media apps from your mobile device. Keep it on your computer if you want to, if you need it for work, but you'll be amazed at what it does to your brain. You will keep reaching for your phone when you're bored. You'll reach for your phone and nothing will be there. So it's an incredible feeling of liberation once you get used to it.
Yeah, wow. I'm pretty good on my phone, actually. When I'm at home, I don't check it much. I'm not like scrolling on social media. I just don't do it. If I post something on social media, I'll post it and then I'm off. But you
know the feeling of going away, Nathan, when you don't have it
I love it. That's my favourite.
Yep.
Yes.
My favourite thing when I go away, and I never ever turn on international roaming. I never do that. I literally have a break from my phone when I'm away.
Yeah, my favourite was I went to Burma and it didn't work. So I couldn't use my phone. Couldn't use a phone and there was no internet access. I was completely cut off for 2 weeks. It's the best thing.
Yeah, see, that's an active choice for me, Todd.
Yeah.
Well, there's an opening in the scene. So, as you know, I love Perth, and I get there as much as I can. There's an opening. The opening scene starts with a Western Australia of the Year, a former police officer who has now dedicated his life to cybercrime.
Yep.
And it opens with a site called Omegle. And it shows, so we have somewhat control over how we use the internet, but our kids don't. And historically, we as parents protected our children from dangers that they would face in society. But there is no protection for them online. And we do this experiment where I hire a 19-year-old actress who plays a 14-year-old, and she goes on this website that is populated by young people and, unfortunately, predators. And within the first 5 minutes of being on the site, he groomed me or her.
Oh my
and he was like, get on your knees. Get on your knees now. Take off your top. Take off your top. And I was like, I'm only 14, I'm typing because I'm controlling the conversation. She can't see it. She's acting.
Yeah.
And I don't need to describe to you what he ends up doing to her image. And at one stage, he groomed me off of that site onto Instagram, where he could get all my data and information. I had a fake Instagram account for it.
Yep.
Now, we look at that and go, that sounds extreme. That's the world in which our kids live.
Yeah.
They have full access to everything and anything they want, unpoliced, unregulated.
It's amazing, Todd, all this stuff, and it's bloody scary. And the other thing, taking away from that stuff that's happening, cybercrime and all the rest of it, just getting on your phone and being a part of the internet, it changes your mood one way to another.
Yeah.
It really affects the way you feel. So is there a moment to just wipe it out completely? I mean, I know there's so many positives, but take it out of your life so much.
I was going to say libraries would be happy, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I think we're beyond that now.
Yeah.
So I think saying to a child, do not use taking your mobile phone or device away from children is like saying, we prefer you not to breathe.
Yes.
Yeah,
they've had it since our babies, this generation.
True.
Yes. And I gave it to, bad parenting on my behalf, but I gave it to my kids as a pacifier when they were really young. And there's a 14-month-old in the film, and she knew how to navigate her iPhone before she could speak. And so we're conditioning them really, really young, right? Really young for this. And we need to take responsibility for it. But it shouldn't all be on parents, because we are up against some of the smartest minds on the planet, from Harvard, from MIT, from Stanford, and what we do need is regulation. We 100% need regulation in this space. That is not to take away the internet. We can keep all the good things that the internet provides, connecting communities, finding love. We can have all of that in a safer environment.
But wouldn't profits go down if it was regulated? And isn't that the way why it will never happen? Because the people in power will not do it?
That's right. This is why the government needs to step in.
But which government? Because it's a worldwide thing.
I know.
Yeah.
We have to start country by country, primarily in America. We need to repeal a thing called Section 230. Here's what will change everything.
Yes.
Section 230 in America is a piece of legislation that basically says that Facebook, all these social media companies are neutral platforms, which means they're not legally liable for anything that's on their platform. Now, that's very different than your network, than my network, than the ABC, than Channel 10. We're all regulated.
Yes.
We cannot say anything we want and spread hate. They can. And the reason they'll do it, and they'll continue to do it, is because they're not legally liable.
Yeah.
But they should be liable for what's on their platform. And you mentioned Burma, which is where my wife is from.
Yes.
Now, you know what happened in Myanmar.
Yeah.
The genocide has been directly linked to Facebook being used as a propaganda. And the reason they got away with it, using it as propaganda, was because Zuckerberg then admitted there were no Burmese translators involved.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
So they just didn't care.
No moderation.
They just threw their hands up, essentially, and said it's not our responsibility.
Yes.
It's
So
scary.
it's a crazy time for us, but all hope is not lost. There's plenty we can do, and we show throughout the series all the things parents can do and we as individuals can do, and hopefully regulation comes our way.
Yeah, but we all struggle with the follow-through. We talk about it all the time.
100%.
Yeah, it's a great idea. And you know what? Over all the shows that I've seen you on, Todd, there's so many great ideas, and I go, God, I'm going to do that.
Yeah, and you might actively correct your behaviour for a week and then, or even a week.
Yes.
Sorry, an hour. And then, like,
the rest of that night.
Then you're back to it again.
I hope we can.
The one for me, Todd,
strong.
is when you're waiting somewhere or you're in a queue somewhere, pulling out the phone just to have a look at it to kill that time, rather than what we used to do, which is talk to people around us. We don't do that anymore.
And we're in a loneliness epidemic right now.
Yes.
And we've never been more connected. And the reason is because we are isolated within and around our phones.
Yeah.
And one of the psychologists in the film talks about this sort of idea of embracing boredom, especially for creative people.
Yes.
Letting the brain run, letting yourself think of ideas. That's why the shower is historically, and Albert Einstein kind of talked about this, that's why the shower has been that place, for people creatively. And the reason today is because you can't get your bloody phone in there, although my girls were in the shower and I heard this talking and I opened up the door. I shouldn't do that with teenagers, and they're on their phones in the shower.
In the shower.
Yeah,
waterproof.
There's better things to do in the shower than that. I know that, Todd.
Sean. Hey, Todd, on Instagram, is this your account is Todd Sampson 2, yeah? That's you, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't use Instagram though, but yes.
Okay,
yes.
well, because I just wonder, because you do speak out about phone companies, all smartphones and all that sort of stuff, and what they do to us. You've got 14.6 thousand followers. You're Todd Sampson. We all know who you are, and I'm wondering why they've refused to give you a blue tick.
Well, I don't use it. I don't use it, right? So the only one I use is Twitter, and that's the only kind of one I use. And I minimize that as best I can as well. But Twitter's my main.
Have you ever gotten with the kids and made a TikTok? Ever made a TikTok?
Oh, I have with my kids. Of course I have.
Yes.
That's a whole nother. That's covered in the film. That's a whole nother conversation about the Chinese own TikTok that in America is using facial scan.
Yeah.
When you're on TikTok. Here's the irony of TikTok, though.
Yes.
It's I grabbed my youngest daughter's phone, and at one stage she spent 42 hours a week on TikTok. Now TikTok collects all that data. It's a Chinese owned, so it's all collected, and the Chinese understand how bad TikTok is for you. In fact, so much so that they've restricted use for under 14.
Yeah. Oh my God.
They're not stupid. They understand the impact of their own technology.
Yes.
In fact, they're using TikTok because they know kids are on it as an educational thing. Now, I'm not saying we should go to a totalitarian approach, but they realized they didn't have enough astronauts. So what they did is they're now pushing lots of content about science and space through TikTok onto their kids. Now, I'm not saying come Chinese totalitarian government, but there is something interesting and ironic in their approach to TikTok.
Yeah.
They go, it's dangerous for this group of people, but like every other country, you go for gold. And you guys keep doing as silly little dances. We're going to push science.
Exactly.
And stuff. So they know exactly how to use it and how dangerous it is. And we're all like, yeah.
And we're making butter boards.
Yeah.
That's not right.
Exactly.
It's not right.
Exactly. Or in our film, we show this young woman who she was gorgeous and she's no fool, but she followed a TikTok trend and tattooed freckles onto her face and ended up in hospital with loss of sight in one eye.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
That tattooed freckled thing.
Yes,
That's
madness.
crazy when that happened.
Madness.
I know.
Todd, speaking of faces, I do follow you on Twitter, and last night, was it your cat that attacked you? What happened to your face?
My puppy Doberman, who was 32 kilos.
Oh.
She woke me up. I was asleep, and she woke me up and pawed my face and put 3 slice marks down the side. Perfect timing, right? I'm going to be on television tonight, and it's like promoting the show with a ripped up face.
God, only if it could have been in 3 weeks when Halloween's on, you'd have been perfect.
Yeah. You know what I love?
Freddy Krueger's
I really love people's cover stories with their bedroom antics.
Yes.
That was a great one, Todd.
Yeah, exactly.
I love how you threw the weight of the dog in. Yeah, that's great.
A little bit too much information there for us to believe it. Thank you, Todd.
Devil's in the detail.
Nathan, Nat and Shaun is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcasts.com.au.